Stoneforge Mystic decks are everywhere, and they're trying to steal our spotlight, because our Stoneforge Mystic deck is the best Stoneforge Mystic deck, so we're here to prove once and for all that we do in fact have the best Stoneforge Mystic deck. We shall play a total of 6 matches, that's right, 6. After last video, everyone already knows how this deck works. No changes, let's get to the gameplay. Be sure to join the big boys and subscribe. But without further ado, here's the gameplay, and I hope you enjoy. Opening hand, a bit too land heavy, so we're gonna mull, and yes, we'll keep. A little too early for Stoneforge, especially since our hand is instant speed. Bottom, then top, they take our Sprite, then we swing for 1, back to them. A Thoughtseize, too bad, and then they pass back. Mystic, nice, just in time for next turn. We'll swing for 2, back to them. Oh, and it's Abzan. 3 top tap, so I guess no Spell Queller this turn. And interesting, Aether Vial. We'll swing for 2, and this is a really tough call here. I think we're better off holding the Spell Queller, because they have to have some good stuff in hand. They attempt to play an Ooze. Yeah, we'll call it. Stoneforge, sure. Grabbing a Sword of Fire and Ice, so they probably have Batterskull already in hand. Okay, let's swing in the air. Playing Vial and a Mystic. They play a Tarmogoyf, and then they pass back. But so many flyers. What can our opponent do? Alright, back to them. They put out the sword, and then they concede. Alright. Going into game 2, we'll dump the fairies for 3 pass, and with that, let's go to game 2. Opening hand, way too many lands, so we're gonna mull. And yes, this will do. Probably should dump the Sprite. Oh, for a second, I thought their name said MILF Mike. That would be a great name. MILF Mike. And they path. Oh, they about to get them cheeks clapped, because next turn the Thoughts come out to play. Stoneforge. That's pretty good. Although the Thought can take it. So here comes the Thought to clap them cheeks. And dang, Batterskull and Assassin's Trophy. I think we gotta take the Batterskull. They play a Goyf, and the Thought survives another turn. But guess what? We have another to take out the trophy. But shh, don't tell them. It'll be our little surprise. Swing for 4. They take it, and so long, Assassin's Trophy. Dang, they screwed. They play a Confidant, and then back on our turn, let's swing in. No blocks from them. And which is the bigger threat, the Confidant or the Tarmogoyf? That is a tough one. I guess we'll take out the Confidant. We don't want them drawing anything. Well, speaking of drawing something, that's pretty good. Dang, maybe we should have left them with the Confidant, because they are at 5 life. And nice, a path to exile. We'll swing in. Double block, double block, double block. Yes, indeed. And will they pull something? Lingering Souls, wow. That can delay us 4 turns. And ooh, Displacer. So play the Displacer. Swing in, they chump, and it's back to them. They play Shambling Vents tap, and we'll flicker one of their tokens. We should have the win this turn. Mutavault, flicker the token, and our opponent concedes. MILF Mike, you fought well, but today we learned that a MILF's worst enemy is a Thought. What a great start. Now it's on to the next match. Opening hand is good for fairies, even though we have no white for this stuff. Using Seer though, we should be able to find the lands we need. Oh, and it's Burn. Temple, nice. But this will be a tough one. Play the Seer, putting both of these on top, and back to them. Burn it, what? So it's like 8 whack or something? 2 couriers. So I think at this point we just block and go straight for the Stoneforge if we can, although that would be risky. So I think a safer option here, play Thalia, and that way if they have removal, we can draw it out of them. Yep, we take 5, land, nice. And we'll take the risk that they have removal, playing a Giver and a Stoneforge. And let's see if they can finish us. They swing for 4, so no blocks. And then they Goblin Grenade us to finish us. Very nice, very nice. So we're going to game 2. Going into game 2, we're gonna dump this stuff for the path, so with that, let's go to game 2. Opening hand, a bit too land heavy, so we'll mull. And not land heavy at all, but we'll mull. And yes. This good. And then race to the Thoughts. They play Foundry, and with this land, we'll be able to play a Thought next turn. Another Foundry, then they swing for 1. We could path, they are stuck on 1 land. We don't want to give them a second one, so we'll take it. And it's back to us, play a Thought. Dang, no wonder why they kept it. Burning Tree into Reckless Bushwhacker. That would be pretty nice, but too bad. And how will they get out of this? Goblin Guide, but then no attacks. Mystic, nice. But this turn we'll play the Thought. And they brought in a Smash to Smithereens. That's not nice. They know we're using Batterskull. We'll have to punish them for their poor manners. Swing for 4. They go down to 16. Back to them. And what? They swing in. A little strange, but maybe they have a bolt block like that. And they bolt the Thought. That's pretty clever. If only they waited for damage to go through. Because here's the path. These children must learn the hard way how real magic is played. And that is by playing dirty. And alright. Put out Stoneforge. And if anything goes wrong, we have Spell Queller. Spank them for 8. And it's back to them. They play a Loyalist, sure. And a Bushwhacker, but we'll Spell Quell it. And not surprisingly, there's the concede. So we're going to game 3. Game 3, I'm gonna dump 1 Sprite to put back in the caverns. And with that, let's go to game 3. Game 3, we have a Vial, so we'll keep. They play Bomat. And nice, the Temple. Using it to play Vial. And it's back to them. Burning Tree. And then Courier. And then Lightning Bolt. They have 2 cards in hand. And we gotta do something about those Couriers, or they're gonna draw cards soon. We go to 14. Thought, nice. Play the Thalia. Its first strike comes in handy here. Yes. And they do swing with everything. Okay, in that case, we gotta sacrifice the Giver and all of her thickness. Blocks like this. And now back on our turn. I say we go with the Thought. Bushwhacker and Bushwhacker. Take Bushwhacker and then pass it back to them. Oh, Burning Tree into that Bushwhacker. Oh, that's dirty. And man, they're just going for it. Blocks like that, we take 4. Down to 5, so we gotta watch for Goblin Grenade. And nice, a second Spell Queller. Let's start getting some damage in. Swing for 4. They're at 16, back to them. They pull land, and then pass back to us. Sure. And we pull land, swing for 4. They take it down to 12, and they pull yet another land. What a sad finish for them. Let's swing for 6. They trade, sure. Then they cast a Bushwhacker, but I don't think so. Spell Call it, and then they concede. Because we would have pathed the Bushwhacker and swung in for 8. That would have been lethal, but now it's on to the next one. Opening hand, no turn 1 play, but after turn 1, we're looking really good, so we'll keep it. Oh, and Strawn. We might be in trouble given how slow this hand is. Oh, dang. Yeah, we ain't doing so well. I suppose Thalia, and they grab their last Tron land. Oh, but a Wormcoil. Whale. This Displacer, and then back to them. We take 6, and they play a star, sack the star, and even they have a Batterskull. Okay. Isn't that fantastic? But you know what? We'll play Giver, and then pass back to them for a special surprise. They play Chromatic Sphere into a Thragtusk. Alright, so that's the game. But as a parting FU, we'll flicker the Germ token. And now it's on to game 2. We're gonna bring in a lot of stuff here. Path to Exile, Revoker, Selfless Spirit, Veto, and the anti-artifact stuff. And with that, let's go to game 2. Opening hand is good. We shall keep. Starting with Giver, and back to them. They play Expedition Map, we'll play Thalia, and then pass back to them. Well, shit. At least we pull a Thought. Their hand is balls. At least after we take the O-Stone, and swing for 2, and pass back. They get their Tron land, they play Star, and draw a card. They search for a land, Sanctum of Ugin, and then they pass back. We shall cast a Displacer, turn Mutavault into a creature, and swing for 8. They go to 10, back to them. Oh my god. Of course they had to top deck that. That ain't good. Let's swing in, and might as well flicker the Thought, so we can take a card out of their hand. Ancient Stirrings, but we'll take the Karn, and then back to them. Builder can take out Mutavault. Oh, but they take out that, and the Ancient Stirrings, but guess what? We'll counter that, and an Oblivion Stone, great. So we have to win with Mutavault. Swing for 2, and back to them. Another Ancient Stirrings, grabbing Ulamog, so they have us. It turns out Tron is not one of our better matchups. We're just a little too slow for it. Although we could drag this out with a path, but with an Oblivion Stone there, they definitely have us. Yeah. Wah, wah. I guess we can't always win, but now it's on to the next one. Opening hand is the opposite of good, so we'll mull. And this isn't too bad. Oh, but they Thought sees us, taking our Vial. And hooray for us, because we got another one. Take that. Now back to them. Oh, is this Jund? Most likely. Oh, and the Assassin's Trophy, which means we have 3 lands this turn. So I suppose Thalia, and back to them. They bolt, and please land. Oh, alright, at least we have these 2 to play. They play Bloodbraid into Inquisition. If we take the Bloodbraid and they kill the Queller, they'll be able to recast it. So let's instead just counter the Inquisition. We take 3, and that's not a land. I want to keep Queller at the ready, so we'll just swing for 1, and back to them. They draw a card, hit us down to 14, and they pass a turn back. Alright, but hooray. We have our 4th land. So let's go for it. Play the Thought, and in response, they bolt our Sprite. So I take it they have nothing here. Yeah. Alright, back to them. They play the land, and pass back to us. Eldrazi Temple, nice. So let's do this. Swing for 4. They block Wowee, and there's a very high chance there's a bolt here. I feel it coming, so instead of playing Batterskull, we'll play the Seer, on them both, and wait for the bolt. But no bolt, although there was a long pause there. Ah, Bloodbraid, and a Liliana, so we'll spell quell the Liliana, and there's no red open, so maybe they don't have a bolt. Maybe a Fatal Push? Or perhaps they have nothing. We could play Batterskull, or we could swing in with Mutavault. Batterskull seems better, but we'll swing with the rest of these. They take it down to 5, and play Batterskull, but they keep on chugging. They draw a card, and then pass back, knowing that the cheek clapping is inevitable. And now we play a Displacer, and they kill those 2? That's fine, because we can do this. Tap down Bloodbraid, and then they concede. So it's on to game 2. Going into game 2, we'll dump some fairies for some paths, and with that, let's go to game 2. Opening hand, nah, I can totally see them discarding us, or destroying a Vial, so we'll mull. And yes, this seems good. They play Cliffs on tap. That is suspicious, but at least there's no discard, even though there's probably a bolt here. Yep, and they play a News. Tough call here. Displacer could be good, Giver could be good, but I think maybe Mystic, just to draw out the removal. So Mystic it is, back to them. They swing in, and they don't eat the Giver. Either a Tarmogoyf, or oh, there's that. So we have to discard a card, I guess Batterskull, because we definitely want to try and end things quickly here. Now we'll play a Thought, and the Thought came to the rescue just in time. So no Bloodbraid for them. And back to them. They swing in, we won't block, because they buff Ooze up to 4. And then back on our turn, swing for 4, and then play the Displacer, and then play the Giver, and then back to them. Ooze swings in for 4, no blocks, and they play a Goyf and a land. Interesting, interesting. This will be a bit risky, but we'll tap down the Goyf and then swing in for 7. They go down to 7. And what is these? Hunt Master of the Fells. So they make a 2/2 token and gain 2 life. And this is a tough one here. We can't really flicker the Hunt Master, so I guess we'll just flicker the Ooze and pull Thalia. And this be tough, but we'll give protection from green, swing for 4, and then play Thalia to prevent this from flipping. Back to them. And then no swings from them. That is troublesome. We could exile one of their guys, but they might have removal in response to that. So we won't do anything. The Hunt Master transforms, attempting 2 damage on the giver, but we'll give protection from green on the Thought, and then flicker the giver. What is these? Ooh, can't really do anything there. We go to 6 and ooh, nice. So we just might survive this. It's gonna be a close one. Swing for 4, and they go to 1, about to be 2, once they use the Ooze. And it really depends on what they draw here. If they draw anything, I mean anything other than a land, then they probably have us. So we can either use Thalia to block the Ooze or the Goyf. I suppose it shouldn't matter. And then attempt the path on this hoe. Do we pull this off? That's 5 going through. We can go to 1, but like literally anything in their hand can beat us here. If they kill one of our creatures, Tarmogoyf gets buffed to 4, and then that would be lethal. We go to 1, they pass back, and oh lord please, swing for 4. And oh my gosh, there's a concede. I can't believe it. The power of math there. So many numbers. It's pretty ridiculous just how close that was. That was ridiculously close. I need a moment. All right, let's gather ourselves and move on to the next one. Opening hand, we got a vial on this stuff, so we're gonna keep. And it looks like we're up against Shadow. Yeah. And they thought Caesar Aether Vial. So we'll play Giver and then pass back. And then they played Tide Hollow, taking the Sprite. We'll go with Thalia, and it's back to them. Another Thoughtseize. So it seems they're trying to get their life total low for Death Shadow, but then they pass back. We'll take it slow and pass back to them. And there's Shadow. And then they Fatal Push the Giver. Mutavault back to them, and they make the Shadow a 10/10. They swing in. If they have the Battle Rage, we'll lose here, but it seems inevitable. Yep, so we're going to game 2. Going into game 2, we're gonna dump this stuff for the pass, and with that, let's go to game 2. Yes, we'll keep. Starting with the Vial, and they start with Inquisition. They take the Thalia, and we'll hold Sprite back to them. Tide Hollow. Okay. And they take the Queller. Alright, and we'll throw down the Displacer, and pass back. They play Liliana, and might as well throw out the Sprite. Batterskull. Well, let's do this. Look our Tide Hollow, and they give us back the Queller for the Batterskull. And now we'll send Liliana to Jesus. Back to them. They go with the Thoughtseize, so we have no choice but out Spell Queller. They draw a card and attempt to Fatal Push the Queller. Do they have the big downs? Because we can do this. Yep, Spell Queller survives. And oh no, I didn't up this to 4. Oh, YOLO like the kids say. Swing for 6, they chump block, and we get back Batterskull. Back to them. They play Death Shadow, and they Thoughtseize us. That puts them down to 5, but guess what? We'll displace that hoe, tapping it, and then they concede. So we're going to game 3. Game 3, no changes to sideboard, and it's an okay hand. Not great, but we'll keep it. They use the Inquisition, taking the Giver, so it's back to them. They play that untapped. Very suspicious. Play Thalia, and back to them. They play land and pass back to us. What is happening? Very strange, very strange. Swing for 2, which is what they probably want, but our hand is pretty good defensively. Back to them. And interesting, at the end of their turn, they did not tap Silent Clearing to lose 1 life, so maybe they're not in a great position. And here, we'll Spell Queller, and a lot of good stuff in hand, but we'll just swing for 4, pass back to them. They play another land, 3 cards left, and then they play Gideon. And that should be the match. They make a token, we'll play the Sprite, but then we have Mutavault, and when we swing with everything, even with the block, that'll be lethal, and there's the concede. So kind of an up and down match. I wasn't sure we were gonna win that one, but we did. So hooray for us. But now it's on to the next match. Opening hand is pretty solid, so we keeping it. Oh, and it looks like we're up against Hardened Scales Affinity. I remember when he birthed that into the world. Good times, good times. They play a worker, and then they pass back. We have to be careful here, because Hardened Scales can be very explosive, just like one's a noose after Taco Bell. But let's just put out Thalia for now, and pass back to them. Uh-oh, a Ravager. That with Ink Moth, I think we might be in trouble. I don't see a way out of this one, unless we bluff. We have a Spell Queller though, so we could block. Alright, there's hope. We'll send it back to them. They play Overseer. Maybe we should have countered that. I don't know. Anything that doesn't immediately kill us seems okay to me. Another Batterskull. Now let's just play things safe here. Pass back. Oh, they might be going for it. Hacking with both. They buff up them dudes. They swing, we'll say no blocks. And please go for it. Oh, yes. Go, big boy, go. Go. Yes. Oh, this is amazing. Play Displacer. And it's time to clap them cheeks. Boom. That's why they call us the cheek clapper. Dang, and they concede. We were definitely favored there. And I'm glad we didn't lose because I didn't Spell Quell this. So we're going to game 2. Going into game 2. We'll dump all this for all this. And with that, let's go to game 2. Oh, and we can use Caverns to get 1 land ahead. Interesting. Yeah, I suppose so. No Hardened Scales. Okay. We shall play a Vial and a Giver. Oh, Nature's Claim. Alright. Ink Moth. Moth, and an Overseer. Pull Temple, play a land back to them. Hardened Scales will definitely Spell Queller that. And a Walking Ballista. Uh-oh, SpaghettiOs. So they could take out the Giver here, but they'll probably wait. Pull another Giver. But now we're in a bit of a tough position. We don't have any of our sideboard cards. We'll keep our lands open for Spell Queller and send it back to them. Worker and a Walker will counter the Walker. They buff their dudes, and they pass back. Meh. Alright, we just gotta start swinging, even though there's a very high chance they'll get us. Play another Giver, and they killed that Giver. And a Hardened Scales. With that, I don't think we can come back. Yep, we're going to game 3. Opening hand is land heavy, but we also have some anti-artifact stuff, so we'll keep. They start with Hardened Scales and an Opal, and we definitely gotta take out that Scales, and then pass back to them. They play an Overseer, and then back on our turn swinging, and then play Mystic. And let's see what they've got. Another Ink, and it looks like they're going the Infect route. So we take 3 Infect, they play a Worker, and it's back to us. We'll plan on going Batterskull and Sprite, swing for 2, and pass it back to them. They try and Harden Scales, but I think not. They're going in with the Ink Moth. We could block, but we'll hold back for now, even though there's a high chance we'll lose to it next turn. Put out the Batterskull, and please pull a sideboard card. No, and we're 1 land short of using this. Yeah, there's no way out of this one. Very sad, especially to lose to our own creation. Yeah, so we had a lot of ups, and we had a lot of not ups, but I still stand by what I say. In this moment in time, I believe this is the best Stoneforge Mystic deck. Now, is this the best modern deck out there? It's hard to say. I mean, who even knows what the metagame is right now? Because less than a week ago, we were all still playing against Phoenix decks and Big Ho decks. So the modern metagame right now is completely up in the air. Once the metagame settles, if there happen to be a lot of Jund decks, I think our deck here will do okay. But if the metagame settles and there's a lot of Tron decks, then I don't know. Things would have been really interesting if we had put 4 Stony Silences in the sideboard, considering what decks we lost to. But overall, I found the deck very enjoyable to play. And I hope you found enjoyment as well on this magical journey. But that is all for now. Be sure to subscribe if you want to see more content like this. And as always, I hope you have a great day.